The polls are closed and the ballots are still being counted in the special election for Assembly District 32, which expands to parts of Kern and Tulare counties.
The seat was vacated when Vince Fong was elected to the House of Representatives to replace former Speaker Kevin McCarthy after he decided not to run for re-election after being ousted from the role. Well, today voters returned to the polls to decide on one of the four candidates vying to represent the district.
They include 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat, and 1 Libertarian. So here's how the race looks like so far. Chris Cruz Boone, we're going to go left to right here at 29.5% of the vote. She is a Democrat. Stan Ellis, a Republican, leading at the moment, 63.5% of the vote. Remember, if one of these candidates ends with 50% plus 1, they win outright, avoiding that runoff. Holly Willoughby, a Republican, 4.5%, and William Brown Jr., the Libertarian candidate, rounding out the 4 with 2.3%. And following the race closely is Eyewitness News reporter Will Silverstein.
And Will, we know you have a couple of guests with you, but what do you make of the results so far?
Well, Rochelle, Michael, this looks just like what some of our experts projected, if not even a little bit more in favor of that leading candidate, Stan Ellis, than what we thought. Ellis needs, as Michael just said, 50% of the vote to head straight to Sacramento without that April runoff. He's currently at that 63% mark of the vote. Now, Eyewitness News caught up with the leading candidate at his watch party at the Crystal Palace. Take a look.
Well, I'm feeling really good, and I'm really honored, and I'm really thankful for everyone voting in my direction. But I think we need to wait till the results come in to be definitive. But I'm really excited, and probably more than anything, I'm so honored. I can't believe it. What a great turnout tonight. Kern and Tulare, Central Valley, I have an obligation to them. They're amazing.
And yes, you did see Ellis playing the guitar on stage at the Crystal Palace. Now bringing along our rock star panelists, Tim Rosales and Keith Smith. Professor Smith, starting with you, what is your reaction to these results?
A little bit surprising in the kind of very larger than expected margin at this point in time, but we all going into tonight, we're expecting Ellis to be in the lead. It was just a question if he was going to manage to get over the 50% hurdle.
And then, Tim, to you, you were projecting this earlier tonight. You said Stan Ellis is going to be there whether that you have a runoff or not, and it looks like or not seems to be the option as of right now.
Yeah, certainly it shows that, he's run a smart campaign. It's not just about being the top vote getter. It's about getting, that magic number, the 50 plus 1. And at least at this point, it seems like he's on that trajectory. Certainly there are more votes to be counted. But when you do have a margin like this and you see that, you really have to take your hat off to not only the candidate, but also his campaign team, because, really, doing their job to get the votes that they need to get in order to meet the threshold that they need to meet. So looks like a pretty impressive job so far, and they will be not singing the blues, but singing some good old fun country there at the Stan Ellis victory party.
Lots of country music with his band Stampede there. Professor, to you on this topic, we're looking at about 15 to 16% of the overall vote or turnout. That's what those numbers are looking like, between 15 and 16%. Now, something interesting to note too, all the votes counted so far, those are those mail-in ballots that they've received and have since counted. Nothing from day of voters, people who went to the polls today. Do you expect that number to get higher than 15, 16% to maybe even 20%? Or is 20% kind of that margin that you're looking for as far as these voters that maybe wanted to go out to the polls today? Are we going to top this out at pretty close to the percentage we're at right now?
Yeah, it's going to be close to what it is right now. These kinds of elections tend to be very low turnout elections. They tend to be people who vote consistently every time there's an election. They don't bring in a lot of peripheral voters who aren't paying a lot of attention. So, 15 to 20% is about all we're going to see here.
And then, Tim, when we looked at who was endorsing Stan Ellis tonight, we had seen David Valadao, Vince Fong, who of course has held the seat, and the person who held Vince Fong's current seat, Kevin McCarthy. Did those 3 endorsements, plus a number of countless other ones from important Republican figures throughout the Central Valley, make a big difference in deciding this race?
Well, I think it certainly didn't hurt, and having that kind of support is always helpful. You'd rather have that support than not have that support. I think it was helpful in a number of different ways, not only to lend credibility and kind of put the stamp on Stan Ellis's campaign as, hey, he's the Republican guy, and who some notable people are picking, but also helping him to raise the money that he needs to raise in order to mount the campaign that he needed to mount, even though that it looked like he was going to be the front runner regardless. He still needed to do some of the things that he needed to do in order to meet the vote threshold that was important to kind of get this on the first ballot, right? I mean, that's what you want to do. You never want to go into like a second ballot or a runoff, right? You want to win when you can, like you do in sports, it's the same you do in campaigns. Is, hey, if you can win, you try to win, there and now, and do it, do it right here. And I think that's what they're trying to do. So, certainly, I think all the support that he's received from the area has been helpful for him.
And Stan Ellis looks like he's on track to do that. We'll let you know when that vote is called. Might not be tonight, but we'll keep you up to date if it is. Thank you both panelists for joining us.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Murcia with Eyewitness News Bakersfield Now on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel where we have tons of great content to choose from. While you're here, go ahead and click on the subscribe button right there. That way you can stay up to date on all the things related within Kern County. Thanks for watching.